I'm Jill Munroe. Welcome to RSVP with Jill Munroe. I know that if you are new to my channel, you will see that I haven't done this in a while, but I'm getting back into the swing of things. I'm actually trying to figure out what the best time to stream is. So, yeah. Anyway, today we're going to get into Shannon Sharpe and all the fallout from his accidental, but was it, Instagram Live from last week. We're going to talk a little bit about Mariah Carey and her comments about Nick Cannon saying he'd be open to getting back together and remarrying her. We're going to get into Don Richards, formerly of Danity Kane and Dirty Money's lawsuit against Diddy. We're going to talk Lil Wayne and his reaction to not tapping in and getting the nod for the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And we're going to get into what else? Tyler, a couple of other things. So let's start out with Shannon Sharpe. Here's my thing. Well, first of all, if you somehow missed it, Shannon accidentally was on Instagram Live during a little moment, an intimate moment with a female friend named Michelle. He was coaching Michelle through it, walking her through the process and growling. And it was a lot. When I figure out how to add in my videos and stuff, I'll punch that type of stuff in, but go Google it. Here's the thing. I am of the opinion kind of that it may not have been an accident. And here's why. One, we've all heard that there have been rumors about Shannon's sexuality circulating. Hey man, I don't know, but it did kind of feel like there are so many steps to start an Instagram Live that I don't really know if it can accidentally happen, but things happen, right? Second, don't know if you're paying attention, but in his apology and follow-up, Shannon also is promoting some type of Viagra pill or something that, stimulates the men, because his nightcap show obviously is geared more towards men. It airs at a later hour, so you got his cognac. I think it's Lepore, whatever the name is. And this product, and in addition to that, he also dropped some new t-shirts that say, "That's my Michelle" on the back and 69 official fuel of the nightcap on the front. That might even be the name of the substance, the additive that I'm talking about he's pushing. But I mean, I get it. You want to show that you're in on the joke if it was an accident and you were being proactive, but I don't know. It's kind of a little bit in poor taste, considering that to me, it was an intimate moment. You say it was an accident. How does Michelle feel? She may not mind. We'll never see Michelle, by the way. We'll never see Michelle, by the way. We have to see. Shannon has been famous for a very long time, obviously 30 plus years. We know he's in the NFL, Hall of Famer, all of that. But the level of celebrity that he's experiencing now in the past few years, since leaving Undisputed and starting Nightcap and Club Shay Shay, and then we know what happened this year with Cat Williams, I feel like in the smallest of ways, that he might be a little affected, but I am a fan. I watch Club Shay Shay. I watch Nightcaps sometimes. Sometimes it's a little too much for me, but I don't think I'm the target audience. But yeah, I have my questions. I definitely have my questions. So let me know in the comments if you will be purchasing a "That's My Michelle" t-shirt, if you purchased the cognac, if you're a fan of Shay Shay. And, he has a lot of merch. Oh, I forgot. There's another shirt. This one is my favorite of the two. I think there's only two. It says "Night Clap" on the front, and you are a member of the film department crew. Get it how you live. I will say that part Paul Pierce has come out and said that he feels like there might be a double standard with ESPN because Shannon didn't face any consequences. But of course, we know when Paul went live, on purpose, by the way, with his company for the evening that just may or may not happen to have been escorts, and the weed and the liquor, he was fired. But Paul, you also aren't as important to ESPN as Shannon might be right now. I don't know. Benefit of the doubt, everybody's going to bounce back. So it's fine. We'll see what happens next. All right. Next up, I want to talk about Mariah Carey. So I love Mariah, by the way. And I thought back in the day when she and Nick hooked up, it was a little crazy. But, obviously they were married. They have their beautiful babies. And they have since moved on. And Nick has moved on, what, 6, 8 more times? I can't keep track of how many children he currently has. But TMZ caught up with Mariah, and in a recent interview on a podcast, Nick said that he would definitely consider remarrying Mariah. Obviously, we know of his mates, she is the highest profile, and she is the one he actually married. So the assumption would be that there's a lot of love there, right? Well, TMZ caught up with Mariah, and Mariah they were like, well, what do you think? Nick said that he would remarry you. And Mariah was just like, I love everybody in her Mariah way, because she's such a diva. The last of her kind, by the way, because there's not many, divas left as far as the music industry goes. But anyway, so when they asked her again, she's like, God, do I really have to clarify this? She was like, what is he, my last option? I know that's right, Mariah. Why do I have to go back to what was? This man has many, many families now. And yes, my children are a part of it, but are they? Are they? I don't know. I mean, shout out to Nick. I respect Nick. And, obviously the women are with that situation. And, we expect Nick to still be making money for a long time so that the kids won't have to worry about the funds running out and, all of the things. I just thought it was funny that Mariah had a little shade, like, why do I have to go back there? Mariah making it clear, I don't know her. I'm not J-Lo. I'm not circling the block again and again and reliving my public embarrassments. Shout out to J-Lo, Ben, Mariah, Nick, all of them. All right, let's get into the whole thing with Kendrick and the Super Bowl and Jay-Z and all of that. So there's been some debate. Does Jay-Z actually select who gets to perform? He may put them up there, but does he make the final decision? Well, we've heard that ultimately the NFL committee makes the decision based off of the recommendations, I guess, that Jay submits. However, producer Jesse Collins, who produces the Super Bowl halftime show, the Oscars, the BET Awards, and a bunch of other things that you've watched that you may or may not know he produces, in a recent interview, he said that Jay-Z personally makes the picks and that they've all been great. What are your feelings about Kendrick and Lil Wayne at the Super Bowl? This is what I say. Prior to Dr. Dre, Snoop, 50, Mary, Eminem, Kendrick, etc., performing at Super Bowl in LA a few years back, it was never a topic that, or an expectation that an artist would perform just because the Super Bowl is in their hometown. We know famously when Super Bowl was in Atlanta, a lot of the Atlanta artists felt a type of way that they weren't featured in the performance. And that was after Jay-Z took over, I think, or right when he did. At any rate, the point remains, there's no real established protocol for that. So it's interesting because Super Bowl has been in New Orleans a bunch of times in the past 15 years or so. And prior to that, nobody was beating the drum. And yes, let me go back. If you don't know, I'm from LA, West Coast till I die. So I am happy to see Kendrick in the Super Bowl. I think he gives a fantastic performance on stage, visually. He has some top hits that he could call on, and we'll see what kind of friends he brings. all of this to say, they could have been spoiling the mood, and maybe he was planning on calling some New Orleans greats to come and represent with him. I doubt it would have been Lil Wayne because of what just happened with Drake, but you never know. Also, let's be honest with ourselves. I think I saw Lil Wayne perform most recently, maybe 2 years ago, when Amazon Prime was doing their concert series after NFL on Thursday. So I think close to 2 years ago. Lil Wayne is great. We know his catalog beats down, but is he really going to give a Super Bowl worthy performance? I don't think so. And that's no shade, that's no diss. I just don't think that as a performer, visually and his stage shows, what he creates is something that on a stage like that, and what the expectation is, that's what you're going to get from Lil Wayne. And again, I go back to, does he have to perform in his city? And were you guys this mad the other 3 or 4 times when he wasn't on the performance list? I don't know. He came out and said that he was really sad, really disappointed, and he appreciated the fans. They were what were lifting him up and keeping him together. So, you know, he's leaning into it. We, of course, heard Nicki Minaj's comments where she is shading Jay-Z, saying Jay-Z has always been jealous and it's a hater and it's one thing. But if I recall, didn't Jay-Z pay Lil Wayne's tax debt? Millions of dollars. I recall Lil Wayne being on stage and saying that Jay-Z does so much behind the scenes to help so many people and that he's not looking for credit for it. I don't know, but now it's beef. You know, maybe things have changed behind the scenes. We know that, what do we want to call them? Not altercations, but, you know, little tiffs, shall we say, scuffles perhaps, come up all the time, and we don't necessarily know all of the details. But I think that right now it's really popular to hate on Jay-Z. A lot of people, for whatever reason, want to see his downfall. They're saying, oh, Diddy, which we're going to talk about Diddy in a second, but Diddy failed. It's only a matter of time before Jay-Z falls too. You know, those tides, those tables, they will change and turn on you. So we'll keep watching this. I don't think that it's going to have any impact ultimately. Do I think in 2026 we'll see Lil Wayne performing at the Super Bowl? I don't. Do I think that when it circles back to LA in 2027 and 28, they'll do a swap and let Wayne perform here? I don't. And again, no shade to Wayne, but I don't think Wayne, the artist, currently in 2024 is performance-wise who y'all think he is. All right, let's get into Diddy. So we know that Don Richards has brought another of several lawsuits that we have seen in, alleging Diddy with sexual assault, sexual harassment, intimidation, all of these things. Some people are calling cap on her lawsuit because of prior comments that she's made in support of Diddy for what Diddy has done to her career, et cetera, et cetera. She is saying that there were moments where he came out, like, for example, one year near Christmas, he said, I am blessing you with the gift of titties for Christmas, you know, basically implying that her natural state wasn't enough and that she should get breast implants. What I will say about that, again, this is no defense of Diddy or anything like that. I feel like those conversations happen a lot in entertainment, and people aren't always honest with themselves and about the business in some of the harsh conversations that happen behind the scenes. Now, obviously, we know some of the things that we have heard about Diddy are flat out crazy. We know he lost that $100 million lawsuit in Detroit simply because he didn't show up when the man accused him of intimidations and threats and sexual intimidation. Diddy's lawyers are claiming they were never served properly and they're trying to get the case thrown out. We will see what happened with that. But some of the big conversation around the lawsuit with Don is that she alleged that at a dinner that contained Neo, Jimmy Iovine, Usher, and some others, Diddy punched Cassie in the stomach. People saw the argument, saw the hit, and just kept going and ignored it and kept moving. And I guess basically kind of implying that they were culpable. But is she not culpable if she didn't do anything either? I think sometimes, especially when we're talking about couples, and again, not justifying this, we all saw that video. It was heinous, it was horrendous, and disgusting. But I think people in general are sometimes leery to get in the middle of situations involving couples because they, one, not talking about Cassie and Diddy, but just sometimes those couples that are volatile. They tussle and that's their way. And you get involved and then whatever happens, then you're the problem. And it's like, no, you guys are dysfunctional as hell. So that's sometimes why I think people stay out of it. Two, sometimes I think when it involves business things, it's like, where is the line? Obviously, someone probably should have stepped in and helped, but we don't know. I don't, maybe Don does. Have any of these individuals talk to Diddy away from what would be a circumstance or other people? Are they having those conversations in private? We don't know. Was there anything that really could be said to stop him from his actions? The way that it's being put out there, Diddy was unstoppable. Who was he listening to? Who was he taking counsel from? Not many people. And then two, I know we go back and forth, about the dangers of women leaving and what happens. But I think for some people, when they see a woman not leaving that situation, well, then they kind of just decide that I'm going to stay out of it too. Well, now I got a little situation at the front door. I thought I was going to be able to stream for longer. I'm not. But let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this. Let me know if this is a good time or what's a better time. I probably have forgotten a couple topics. I think, Tyler, maybe I'll make a video